And we're off. Welcome to the third of a whopping 13 panels with creators of shows that are taking part in this year's NZ Web Fest. We're on animation for this panel, and these are the people behind the animated shorts, which will next week be fighting it out at the award ceremony. But today we can all be nice to one another and chat merrily. So, welcome to all of you. It's lovely to have you along. I will give you each the introduction to say a few words about yourself and about the project, and once we get a bit further down the line, then we'll put links into the YouTube chat so that people can find this if they're happening to watch this after the festival is done. If you're happening to watch it while the festival's running, there'll be another link in the YouTube chat for you to be able to find stuff and to register to watch anything at all that you fancy over the next 10 days or so. So yes, welcome to all four of you. It's nice to have a panel which, apart from myself, doesn't have men on it, especially in the animation space, because our winners last year were Muck Puddy, who is very much skewed to the other end of the gender spectrum. So lovely to have you all. I'll just go randomly at this point. So Anya, I'm going to throw you under the bus first to
Okay, great.
give us a few words about you and about Little Night.
So Little Night is a web series that Lucy Timmins and Patrick have created. It's pretty much mostly all practical special effects with quite a lot of compositing afterwards. So they're unable to be here, but I made the puppet, which was a snail mailer, which is a silicon hand puppet. So I'm an artist and filmmaker, and I do a lot of production design and puppet making, and also writing and directing myself too.
All right, excellent. Okay, well, we'll talk a little bit about the puppet later on, but for now, Ruby, why don't you talk to us about Targeted?
Kia ora. Hi, I'm Ruby. I am an animation tutor down in Invercargill at SIT, and last year it was the first time organising quite a few teams in the 48, and I put on like the facilities to be available, and I also ran a team, and Targeted is the result of that. So a collection of a couple of tutors, including me, some graduates that were still down here and local in Invercargill, and then a couple of students, plus a collaboration with an audio student for the awesome audio that's in the short film. So animation is like a feat in the 48 of hours to make it, and it was handed in like probably a few minutes before the deadline on the Sunday, starting, yeah, from scratch, like everything from scratch from that Friday previously. We got the genre given to us, and it was splatter. So we really wanted to be like, let's make the animated film be something that's not going to be blood, like something that's not going to be what all the live action guys ended up doing. So the splatter of robots and ads and, yeah, things to take out the frustration of just pop-ups, which we're now like even more overrun this time, like now versus even last year when we made it. But yeah, it was a great time to make a little finished animated film. And man, the 48 this year has also been overrun with amazing animation. So very cool. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, Rachel, tell us about Chrysalis.
Hey, it's nice to meet everybody, first of all. So Chrysalis is a film that I made for my master's degree with a team of myself and four other artists. It's an animated short that we made in Unreal Engine, so it was a little bit experimental. And yeah, it's about an archaeologist who's obsessed with preserving the past and has to learn to cope with change, essentially. So set on an alien planet. And yeah, it's a film that's, I guess, quite close to my heart because it was made during a time where I was undergoing, I guess, a lot of personal change. And so I guess that's reflected in the story. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Jacqueline, talk to us about A Dragon in Name Only.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jacqueline. This was a school project from our last year at Media Design School. We were just a team of 6 women only as well. It was just a pretty much a short film in order for us to graduate. So it was a school project, as I said. The last 3 months, we did everything in 3 months. I was a producer for the short film. It was quite experimental as well, as we wanted to make a very stylized environment in just the story as well. So pretty much it took a long time to create what we did, but it's been incredible, the response from the audience. It's been a year now, and we're still going, and film festivals keep on running, so it's been really good.
Excellent. All right. Well, I don't think it matters how short or long you work in this industry. You'll get used to things taking longer than you expect them to. That's one thing that will never change. But, in terms of one thing that can sort of change that a bit, I did want to talk a little bit about AI tools and whether you found them useful or hated them or whatever. But we won't go there quite yet. But I would like to talk a little bit about the ideas that lead to getting there, because it's rare that anybody has sort of one idea. And they stick with it, and it gets made and gets out into the world. So I think about what sort of made this particular idea work and have the legs that made you keep going with it until the end, because it's something that's, that stickability of an idea is something that can come and go. Anya, that snail was particularly sticky, so maybe you can start us off.
The snail was particularly sticky. Well, in terms of the idea, I mean, I guess I can only speak for like what I know of Lucy. She's a real go-getter. So, her and Patrick were self-funding the project. And unlike me, I have a lot of ideas all the time and struggle to stick with them. She's very diligent with that. So I think that I'm not 100% sure exactly what it was about the night that made her stick, but I just know that that's her kind of personality. She gets an idea and she really goes down that path. The snail, so I mean, that took a long time, about 90 hours, I'd say, to make it, because I had to sculpt it and then cast it and then paint it and then also do this shell that was painted by Lucy's sister, Molly Timmins. And I mean, I guess what got me sticking, I was doing it for Lucy for something else. It was easier. But I mean, obviously, just the end result, right? Like if you've got an idea and a vision, like nothing's more rewarding than getting that done. Even the like agonizing pain you go through it, especially my back. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't give up if you've got a vision.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Jacqueline, you want to talk a little bit about why this idea that you ended up with lasted the course?
Yeah, so we had a bunch of ideas as a group, and we have different stories. We chose another story about a Komodo, which we liked it the most, but we weren't too happy about it. So it was actually quite good how every single member of the team started adding ideas into the script. So we pretty much created the script as a group. We which was also very rewarding to learn how to work together with other people, to understand that everyone would have a value in your team and their opinion matters. So that really helped us to feel quite confident about the story, because we really wanted a meaningful story. So when you look at the short, it does look pretty, but it also gives you a meaning. So yeah, it was really good just to see that portrayed exactly as how we wanted it. As Anya said, it is such, yeah, it is a reward just to see. Doesn't matter how much you go through, the late nights, being super tired, and those times when you pretty much want to give up. Then you keep going and you see the end result that you're like, oh my God, we did that, and it's good. So you feel proud of it. So yeah, that was pretty much the journey for it.
All right. Ruby, what kept Chrysalis going?
Rachel?
Sorry.
It's okay. To our names. I guess I'm in like a bit of a weird spot, I guess, because we initially created it for my university degree. And so we made it in, I think, 12 weeks of just absolute madness of trying to create this story that was quite large in scope, in that short period of time. And then I spent a bit of time after university polishing it up as well. And I guess the thing that really kept me going was, I guess I was attached to the original story, because it was something that was very personal to me. But at the same time, just with how, I guess, technology has improved since my degree as well, there was a degree of waiting for the technology to catch up with the vision. And so that kind of was a big motivation to keep me pushing and get get it looking the way that I wanted to and what I like originally envisioned, I guess. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Ruby.
Hi, yeah, the 48 is the nature of only a short amount of time with the story, so it is quite different to, and it's inspiring to hear about the longer form of having almost, weeks or years on a project. But this 48 hours, we have to commit to a story really quickly.
Yeah.
So what we do is, and what we did do, is we had a digital whiteboard that everyone could contribute to, and just like pull out ideas and start sketching, but also bringing in links, and we watched stuff to help inspire. And it's very much like everyone in the team has ideas, and then it's all put in a kind of pod, and then it's picked out what's the strongest, or maybe just what's the funniest. And I think that's what people have to try and find, is like a story that is going to engage with everyone for the short amount of time, so that they will put their all into it, for it. And I think the digital whiteboard worked really well, and it was just like the bouncing of ideas in a short amount of time, but then going on a break and then like walking away from the idea, coming back to it and being like, let's do it, and then committing. And lots of people contributed to the storyboards and some of the main beats. And then it was just like slotting people into what roles worked best for them. But I one of the comments that we did receive from on the website, the screening room, was that it was where we're living in at the moment, and the technology that kind of like made people, I guess, connect with the story, because everyone can be kind of frustrated with the ads and the stuff there. So it was just a lot of luck as well. But thanks.
I think everybody needs a bit of luck to to get stuff across the line, and certainly in the shape that they want it to get across the line. In terms of all that technology stuff, I mean, not so much for you, Anya, with what you were doing, but in terms of the other three, you're using digital tools to create the finished product. What did you play at all with AI tools, or were you doing this sort of more before that kind of whole wave of stuff had hit? Jacqueline.
So we didn't use any AI tools. I think it was just due to the fact that when we were working in our project, that was April last year, March, April last year, if I'm not mistaken. So AI was just starting, and it wasn't like in the boom, like we could be experimental. And I think as well we had such a limited time that we needed to finish our project that we didn't even think about it. We just did everything from the beginning, from scratch. It would have been good. I think I'm not too much against it because I feel like it gets to a point that you can work along with AI tools, but definitely like it wasn't the case for this project.
All right. Okay. Ruby.
The nature of our film kind of might give a hint at what we all thought about kind of robots and taking over, and the dystopian nature of stuff that's gonna kind of just poop on humanity. So we didn't use any AI tools, and I am pretty against even students using a lot before they know what's good and how to make stuff themselves and how to actually like go through the journey of making stuff. If something's taking over the journey part of making and creating, then what's the point? Is part of where I come from, and the team that we had very much were there to come in and use their own hands and brains and ideas to create everything from scratch in that short amount of time. And I don't think AI could have like imagined or conjured up anything that we were able to make. So I wasn't dabbling anywhere near it, and hopefully it doesn't need to be too dabbled in. I'd rather be creating from scratch and talking to humans to like get feedback for any future projects as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's fair enough. I mean, from a legwork point of view, they can make some of the journey a bit faster, but I think you're right that needing to understand what you're doing and how you get there is important before you get distracted by all the shiny stuff. So, Rachel.
I'm always on the fence about AI because I work in the VFX industry, and I feel like I'm on the cusp of people who are very much on the artist side and very against AI, and people who are on the technology side and are really keen to embrace it. So I feel like I sit right in the middle of that sort of crossroad. But I guess for me personally, I do kind of agree with Ruby in regards to, I feel like part of there's like a lot of creativity that comes from learning how to do something, and a lot of ideation that comes from that creative process. And there's an artistic part of me that is reluctant to give up that control to AI, if that makes sense, because I feel like as I'm learning, I'm coming up with ideas, and I'm sort of exploring that through the process itself. But yeah, it's tricky. I feel like there are spaces definitely where AI could be of use, but it's just so hard to know right now because we're at such a weird, I guess, place with this emerging technology that we can't really, we still haven't figured out where it's useful and where it's not yet.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I think that will vary from person to person to a large degree. Anya, does it impact on the work that you do? Not particularly on this project necessarily, but generally?
Well, in this project, Lucy and Patrick did use quite a lot of digital tools in post-production. So there was a lot of practical special effects that came into it while we were shooting, but they had blue screens all up. So there's heaps of chroma keying and compositing and stuff like that. I do some digital stuff myself, but I mostly do practical sculpting. Lucy had said that her and Patrick, when I asked, is there anything you want me to say? She had said, oh, her and Patrick were not super keen on AI and live action, but they didn't know enough about it in animation. My personal feeling about AI, I think it's one of the great sort of modern ethical conundrums, new territories that we're sort of navigating at the moment. I think there's probably ways that it could work in animation. Like I think, oh, how nice would it be to just click your fingers and have everything kind of composited together for some of those more dreary tasks, or having like movements happening. But I think generative AI, when you're actually stealing other artists' work to kind of build those models, that's where it gets really complex and tricky. And I think that if it can be done in a way that isn't environmentally disastrous and also in a way that's ethical and protects copyright. So, for example, being able to train it on your own work would be really great. So you can kind of come up with the ideas and stuff, or having some way to compensate artists. I don't know what that is at the moment, but I think it's just a real sticky area at the moment, and the world is kind of snowballing.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of new technology, then people will push it as far as they can push it until somebody else pushes back and says, you know, it's don't do that. It's so it'll kind of move backwards and forwards for quite a while yet, I think, and because it's still growing in the sense that it, 2 years ago, we were all amazed that it could actually answer a question if you ask ChatGPT something, and now it's leaps and bounds on from there, and seems to go leaps and bounds further every week and every month, and every kind of new edition of something that comes out has taken kind of quite a few steps forward. So there's, I'm sure, like every other tool, because I was I worked on Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, so sort of seeing the early days of Weta Digital and what they were starting to do, and certainly some of the tools that they were bringing into that process then, and you kind of you look back at that now, and it seems like kindergarten in terms of where we've gone to. It's not necessarily made films better or worse. It has very much been in. I think that's down to the hands of the people who are driving the projects, but it's certainly made some of those things easier to achieve, and it's made it possible to achieve some things that weren't possible or were just impossibly expensive. Brought them within the realms of what we can do, but we are not in the Avatar budget range here. So in terms of the kind of the scope and scale of what you do, and sort of the projects that you get to work on a day-to-day basis, not necessarily these ones. When you went into this project, you're all fairly early stage career, and you came out the other end. Can you talk about something that you got out of the project? Not obviously you got a finished piece of work out of the project, but in terms of your own sort of growth and development, sort of how did it help move you forward towards the next step? Ruby, do you want to dive in on that?
Yeah, the project I've even been able to use as kind of examples and exemplars in class, and showing the behind the scenes, and even the really technical side of how many layers are there in this one shot, or what are the kind of filters or nodes or ways that things were composited together or made shinier, but in a short amount of time. The management wise was also really helpful with being able to navigate a team, and then kind of port that over to class and working with lots of different types of people and knowing where like people are best to slot in and like really thrive in like a certain place, but also quick thinking and problem solving abilities always go up as well after these projects, which is I find really fun. And kind of seeing, yeah, if there's something to do, then who can do it, who will do it either the best or the fastest. All of that is just always really great. So knowing even the file management side of just knowing that this project, yeah, was able to get done using these techniques, and then the reflection and how to improve it for next time, which, yeah, we've already gone through another 48, so we've all done it again, but with a new team, and successfully made something again. And that's the whole thing, finding a formula that's going to be able to be repeated but adapted to whatever story that you want to make.
All right, Jacqueline, how did you go?
Definitely learning how to contribute in teams and working with other people, which always, I think, in this industry, that's a must do. You're always working with others and collaborating. So that has been pretty good. Wearing multiple hats all the time as well at work and from those projects. So you learn how to do different things and also try to incorporate that into your day-to-day routine at work to know like, oh, I can help in here, or I can do this, or definitely as well learning how to listen to the others and just follow rules, follow instructions, which is also always really good when you when you're working with others in your professional career. And I think as well, just trying to find the formula to understand what didn't work, so you don't apply that anymore, like in the future. But still, it's like trial and error, and also identify what works for your project. So you keep doing, and you trying to get it better and better and better. What are you trying to deliver?
Rachel, is there anything that particularly helped you step up?
Well, I guess for me, it was my first time directing something and leading a team as well. So that was an entirely new experience, learning how to, I guess, knowing when to take the lead and when to also let other people have their suggestions shine, and being able to work together as a team and knowing when that sort of give and take. It was also my first time pitching as well, which I think was quite an experience of how do I take this idea that I love that is in my head and get other people invested in it as well. That was like, I think, a really useful learning experience for me. And because I've also gone on to be teaching and lecturing as well. So just, I guess, building my confidence in that regard in terms of public speaking and, sharing ideas and being able to communicate ideas with people, I think was like a huge growing point for me in the project, both in terms of the pitch and as a director as well, being able to do that.
Yeah, the pitching is a thing in itself, isn't it? You'll kind of find as you go on, you'll find people who are really, really good at it, and the trick is to get them as excited as you can, and then let them do the pitching for you. 'Cause there are certainly people out there who are very, very good at it, and have a very high success rate when it comes to particularly to bringing money onto projects, which of course is increasingly necessary as you go on and like to do things like eat and have a roof over your head and stuff like that. So, Anya, apart from a snail, what did you get out of this?
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of the snail, that was really great because I had previously always been quite limited by budget and what I made. So the sculptures I'd been making with those materials were relatively small and rudimentary, but Barnes New Zealand sponsored us for the project. So I was actually able to make something that was like bigger and more complex than I had done before. So that was a really great learning curve. And I hadn't necessarily made a hand puppet like that before. So there's heaps of learning involved in that. And then also, like Jackie said, moments where you learn like what not to do.
Yeah.
So I won't be making the mold in the same process that I did
Yeah.
time. And I mean, it was also really great just having more traffic coming to my work and my page. Like Lucy and Patrick were just really good at doing social media promotion and just really uplifting people's work that were on the project. And you don't always get that in the low budget things. You can put in a lot of hours and not get that back. But that was really great. So yeah.
All right. So in broad career terms, I mean these were, you know, animated projects of one form or another. Is that something that you particularly want to be doing moving forwards, or is it kind of part of a broader sphere of stuff that you're interested in being in, and it was, you know, this particular idea was appropriate for that exploitation? So, Jacqueline, do you want to talk about where you think you're going?
Yeah, great question. I reckon at this point, trying to figure it out what I want to do as well. Definitely, I did enjoy doing visual effects, and filmmaking, which that's my specialization. But slowly with other projects, getting involved in on set, getting involved as well in areas in pre-production or in set design. I've been quite lucky to been involved in so many other projects where I've been able to do all the stuff that I wasn't aware that I could do, and I was good at it and I was enjoying it. So at this point I'm trying to find out if I want to stay more like on set or more like in the post-production. Definitely, I think I enjoy more doing things with my hands physically, like dealing one-on-one with people. Trying to, I'm like, and as well, I realized that I'm a people person, which I didn't know throughout my career. Always working in a computer, post-production. You don't get to talk too much to people because you're always just like behind the screen and working. But seeing the other side and also producing, like as a producer, I really like trying to involve people into the team, make them feel like a good environment for them to work. So definitely, probably I'll say I'll be leaning more towards production. And dealing directly with people, but it's always good to have my visual effects tools when it's needed.
Yeah. And to have an understanding of what some of the people you're working with do as well is always helpful, I think.
100%.
Ruby.
Yeah, the teaching is what I definitely enjoy. But I also love doing stuff myself there and being able to problem solve. So I'd love to be able to keep my kind of teaching job and helping students realize their ideas and visions from the from the really early ideas of stories to the finished. I love compositing and the visual effects as well. So really having something finished, but actually how can you push it further visually or polish it up? And yeah, I'd really encourage anyone to do the 48 and give it a go. Like get a team together to do an animated project. Games are also pretty cool and have like lots of opportunities for animation and visual effects and getting teams together. So if the 48 is too far away, then game jams are also really cool, just to like toe dip and find connections with people and collaborators, because then you'll be able to find other people to like go to movies with and watch stuff and consume content.
Yeah. And learn, because there's many ways of learning. Anya, how are you kind of feeling reasonably set on a career path and happy with how you're progressing, or have you got kind of that's definitely out there on in your sights?
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely I would say that making films that experiment with practical special effects and bringing back some of those old technologies that like painted backgrounds and all of that stuff is my single greatest passion in life. And I've got a lot of very grandiose ideas. A 10-episode series in this format. I would like my career to be going a bit faster than it is. I'm sure a lot of filmmakers feel that way because money's hard to come by. But yeah, I'm still pumping along. I think I've had to come to the conclusion as well that expressing some of the other art forms I like to keep me going in those in-between moments is probably also a good idea, because film can be a quite brutal industry. But no, I'm really happy, and I was super stoked with the Little Night, and I'm just super stoked with all the people I've been meeting and working with, like Jackie. We did a 48 hours this year. So yeah, no, pretty good. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Rachel.
Yeah, so I do work with Weta at the moment in the animation department. So, and I would say that I really enjoy that, and I always wanted to work in animation. But I also definitely want to keep making stuff outside of that workspace, because it is very like a specialized field, and I feel like I really enjoy being a generalist and being able to model and edit and do all of the other parts of the film as well, and stretch those flex those muscles as well. Again, I also really like collaborating as well on like small teams. That's really where I thrive. Like I kind of agree with Jackie in regards to learning that I'm a people person through this project, because you're so often as an animator working alone in front of a computer and not really getting that opportunity to collaborate with people. And I think having spaces where you can bounce ideas off each other is just so important as an artist to have access to. So yeah, I kind of see work as like a way of, I guess, funding my personal projects in that regard, and keeping that personal creativity alive outside of work. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. We're heading. I'm looking at the clock. We're heading very much towards the end of the session now. It'll be links in the chat accompanying this, which will direct you to NZ Webfest if you are quick at watching this and see it while the festival's still running. All of these titles that we've been talking about are there, and many others besides. If you're seeing it after the festival has come to an end, we've got some links going into the chat as well, which will direct you to people or their projects, and you can kind of track them down, hopefully not in a stalkery way, but and learn more about the work and enjoy it. But thank you very much to all of you for being with us, and thank you for sharing about the projects you've been working on. We have a week tomorrow, our awards bash. Are we going to see any of you there in person?
I'll be there.
Very
Where
good.
is it? Yep.
I
Maybe.
was gonna ask the same.
All right. Well, we'll see. I might end up with a spare trophy for my own mantelpiece then. So, all right. Thank you very much for being with us today, and all the best with the rest of the journey for these productions and everything else you work on.
Thank you so much for your time. Lovely to meet you all. Thank you.
So yeah.
Thank you. And if anyone wants to connect, like I've really resonated with a lot of stuff that you guys said today, so it'd be awesome to chat more. Especially like, yeah, let's bring back more physical and digital, like collaborative kind of stuff, because it really is like how the Lord of the Rings maybe was made and was still good and still holds up.
Right.